So this is part 3. So in the last video I showed you that my timing marks in the bottom pulleys were 180 degrees out. So just to clarify, in order to bring them back in, I just put I put the crankshaft pulley back on. You can see that, the black thing in the bottom, and an 18mm socket, and started to turn it. Now I had the spark plugs out, but when I was turning it I never hit any valve, so maybe I was lucky, I don't know. But what I do know, I brought my marks back into position, as you can see in this picture, so they're spot on there. And the other thing I meant to show you, when I actually done this, I left the camshaft locked. You can see the two tools are still in there, so the camshaft's never turned during this procedure. And you can see in the top of the picture that the screwdriver's in number 1 and hits at TDC. And you can see the screwdriver goes further down into 2 and further down into 3, so they're obviously not in TDC. But when it was 180 degrees out, number 2 was actually up. But the other thing I had to do during this procedure was remove the crankshaft timing tool, because I actually found out it wasn't right in the first place anyway. So use the new camshaft sprockets that come with the kit. Just compared the old one to the new one, which is the right way to go. So you pop that on. These are not keyed, these are free, so what I do is I just pop the bolts in and leave them loose. It helps when you put the chain on, and do exactly the same with the other one. As I say, don't tighten them at this point, leave them loose, and it aids putting the chain on. So that's them there. So I'm just showing you these old ones, I don't know why. So the next point is give everything a good clean down. I use these wipes that have alcohol or something in them, so I tried to get most of that red stuff off, but they were actually just about scraping into the metal, so I think it's going to be fine like this. So then give everything a good blast with the air hose. Now renewing the tensioner, so it's just held on with 3 Allen keys, and just pop the 3 of them in, and just do a hand, put a socket on it, and don't go mad with it, just give it a hand tight like a spark plug. Now this is the crankshaft sprocket, it's a new one. See, it's keyed, it can only go in one way, so it goes into the, I like that shot, prolonging the agony here, I think. So anyway, I think I've made my point. So there you can see the key bit at the top there, and you pop that on there. I think the action should happen shortly. Here we go. So you can see that slots in, good. So after we do this, see it's keyed in, you replace the plastic guides. So the one with one slot goes onto the tensioner side, and the other one with 3 bits in it, it goes onto the, I don't know what you would call that, the leading side. So that's it slotted in there. You can see that one moves back and forward. It would have to do that along with the tensioner. So you can see it's just one hole there at the top, and the other one's got 3 mounting points. So here's a bit fiddly, putting the chain on, so I decided to put on the bottom bit first. See, now you've got to get it inside the guides at the same time. So I can't actually remember if I had to slide this bit off or not, but I think I did, and then it pushed, I keyed it back into the crankshaft. So then get the chain into the guides and take them up over the camshaft sprockets. So now you can see the camshaft sprockets are still loose, and that's key here because I had to remove this one to take it back off, so I then could slip the chain into that. Now what I ended up doing, I ended up fiddling this ages because I wanted the 2 black marks you'll see later on in the middle. I don't know why. I think it's Toyota actually that does this, but I never actually ended up using it. But you can see there the chain's in position. So you can see, oh yes, remove the tensioner pin, and that pops out. So that's it back in position. So there you go, these 2 black marks. I don't know if they're meant to be there or what these top 2 chains are meant to be, but that's where I put them. So I then put my crankshaft pulley on because I want to rotate the engine and see if, first of all, I'm not going to be hitting any valves, and to see if my timing is spot on, and see if the thing moves okay, moves quite freely. Obviously this procedure is done with the spark plugs out. and it's an 18mm socket that goes onto this bottom pulley. So you torque, or I torque them up first, so it's 60 Newton meters, it's no longer pounds per foot, and I use my bar here. Now this is a two-man job. I got my son to give me a hand, so he was pushing up in this bar as I was pulling back, although I think you see in the video he wasn't doing much pushing up. So I then get my bar onto here, so you can see once it clicks at 60 Newton meters, that's it. You're only meant to do it once actually, but I gave it 2 for good measure. And you do exactly the same in the back one. So there's some amount of strain in that actually. So that's at 60, so I give everything a good wipe down, and I use my favourite tip X to mark it up for the 90 degrees. So mark at the top and mark it at the sides. So you're going from the top down to the side bits. So you just don't use a torque wrench here, just use a normal bar and slot that back in again, and I prefer to start at the top and give it one mighty heave, and you can see this chain flexes some quite a bit here. So here we go. Oh yeah. So that's just about I don't know, halfway there, 45, even 45 degrees, maybe 40. Now I'm actually using a 27mm socket here, and oh yeah beauty, here we go, off it goes. So I'm not actually sure what size that is, but I managed to achieve my 90 degrees, so I think that's good to go. And we've done exactly the same with the front one, so that's at 90, that one's at 90, so I think we're all good there, thumbs up. So I'm going to rotate the engine, so I run some engine oil down the chain and into the guides just to give it a bit of lubrication. I don't want it running dry, so just a wee, it'll probably be okay, but you're better just to do this anyway. So remember to take the camshaft locking bits out, because you want to rotate the engine, and remove your crankshaft holding tool. Now that actually was the right end. So we rotate the engine, and what I'm doing here, wait till you see this, the amount of flexation in this, unbelievable. Watch the tensioner goes away and then pops back out. Is that normal? Time will tell when I put the thing back together, but that looks some amount of flexation. And that's where the spark plug's out. Wonder if anybody's seen that before. But anyway, I wanted to check I had compression, so the easiest way is to put one of these compression adapters down the plug hole, and you hear the noise. So I do that with 1, do that with 2, all good, and I do that with cylinder 3. So we've certainly got compression in all the cylinders. So you can see that this is difficult to see when this is right in. I had to get my son to rotate the engine, and then I felt it, so it's that last wee bit goes in, but you're better to have somebody turn the engine when it's spot on and then pop that in. So I was all good. But when I got to the camshafts, you can see they're 180 degrees out. So what I had to do was, you can be at no TDC. You can be TDC in the exhaust stroke, and that's exactly what I was here. So I just had to go and turn the engine again, and that was me back at TDC for the cams and the crank. So that's another bit done. So it's just a matter of cleaning everything up and putting it back together to see if the thing runs. I'm sure it will, because I've got compression on the 3 of them. But I certainly was a bit worried about the amount of flexation on that tensioner. I hope that's normal. But anyway, that's everything back together. So it's now cleanup's time to get rid of all that silicone. So I'll see you in part 4. Cheers.